Hello, this is Victor, and I'm going to do this video to explain how I'm preparing for a tournament for that Saturday. So this is going to be a team tournament, and we are going to play Tau and Grey Knights. The point of the tournament is 750 points per each army. First of all, let's review a little bit the restrictions and the rules for that tournament, because I think there are quite a lot of restrictions, and some of them are quite influencing quite a lot when you are doing the army. Let's start. So the first is you cannot have any duplicate choice. So they want to avoid spam at any way, and the only thing you can duplicate are troops, and even the dedicated transports cannot be duplicated. So this is kind a big handicap for some armies, like Dark Elder, that depend a lot on duplicating, for example, the Venoms. Then next one is you only can have one flyer or flying monstrous creature per team. So this will limit a lot all the flying in your army. So on the other side also means that you don't need a lot of anti-fly fire. Then you cannot use any units that will generate new units. This is quite a strange. It's the first time I see a restriction like that. Then Forge War is allowed if it's 40k approved and have the stamp that is 40k approved from Games Workshop. You cannot use unique special characters, so this is also limiting some lists like Deathwing or Ravenwing. Fortifications are allowed, but for example, data slates are not allowed. The only exception is the Codex of Inquisition, that you have to take your full army from the Codex, so you can use Inquisition as a main detachment. You cannot use Escalation, and you cannot use a Stronghold. So when they say fortifications allowed, it's only the fortifications from the rulebook, and you cannot use fortifications from a Stronghold Assault. And then the two armies have to follow the rules that you have in the rulebook in page 113, except the Tyrannids, because they don't have any ally. They will be desperate allies with all the armies. So this means that there are some combinations that are not allowed. Another restriction is the two armies have to be different. So even if you're thinking that, well, okay, I will take two Tau army in the team, and then I can duplicate the types, this is not allowed, because the two armies have to be different, and they go even further. You cannot use any of the codex supplements if the other army is using the parent codex. So you cannot have, for example, Elder and then have the craft word of the Elder. So what I mean is you cannot have Elder and Yanden in the same team. So, and then the last one is there will be not mysterious terrain and not mysterious objectives, so they don't want to have randomness. And a part of the flyers, you cannot put any unit in reserve. I think this is, I don't understand a lot this rule, why you cannot use Deep Strike with your Terminators, or why you cannot use outflanking. So all your meters have to start on the field, on the table, except the flying vehicles. So as you can see, there is a lot of restrictions in this tournament, and this is making you to make some choices when you are doing your army build. Continuing with the rules, we have the missions. So in every scenario, you will be able to win 11 points. And the way of winning the points is you can, if you win by 1 point, you win the game, and then you have 11 points. If you have equal points, you tie. And if you have just 1 point less than your opponent, you lose the game and you don't have any point. Okay, so there will be not intermediate degrees of winning, so only win, tie, and lost. And then the missions will be a combination of two. For example, the first scenario will be Emperor's Will, that will give 4 points if you get if you win this objective, and then there will be Crusade, that will give you 3 points, and then on top of that you have the secondary from the rulebook that will give 1 point each. So this means, for example, that if you win by 1 point because you have Emperor's Wills and your enemy have Crusade, for example, and then you win 4-3, you will have 11 points. If you tied, you will have 0 points. Other thing is, also they explain how you have to deploy the objective, and they oblige you to deploy some objective out of your deployment zone. So the second scenario will be scoring as main mission, purge the aliens as secondary mission, and then again all the secondary objectives from the rulebook. And the third mission will be Big Guns Never Tire and the Relic. So as you can see, in all the missions there will be a lot of objectives that you need to grab, so it will be important to have scoring units. And then for the first mission, the only scoring unit will be lines, and for the other missions, for the second scenario, also the fast attack will have a role, and then on the last one also the heavy support will have a role. So based on that scenarios, I wanted to play with Grey Knights, and my friend decided to play with Tau. So he decided to go for a very cheap HQ, that is the Cadre of Fireblade, and then he have two choices, 12 Fire Warriors and 11 Croods. So the Croods cannot outflank, but can use the infiltrate role. Then as elite we will have 3 stealth suits, as fast attack 4 Pathfinder, and then a heavy support we will have 2 units, a hammerhead and 2 broadsides. So they have quite a lot of number of units, and some units are not as very small, as Fire Warriors and Quads are more than 10 warriors. Then from my side, I decided to play with Grey Knights, and I decided to use as HQ an Inquisitor from the Order Moreus. I decided to put him level 1 of Psyker in order to have divination, and then with a divination I will do prescience or the perfect timing if it's needed. So depending if I have luck and I have perfect timing, maybe I will use to eliminate the cover saves from my opponent. If not, the prescience, I think it will be quite good for Grey Knights. Then I decide to have 2 troops, 1 unit of 7 Grey Knights in server armor, and a unit of 5 Terminators. Both units will have C-Bolt ammunition, and they will have Psychic Cannon. So and then at the end I will bring the flyer. It's going to be a Storm Ribbon equipped with Twin Link Multi-Melta and Twin Link Last Cannon. So here the objective is to use my Grey Knights as a midfield and have the strongest part of the battle. So I will push my Grey Knights, especially the 2 units with the Inquisitor, to midfield, and I think we are also going to use the Steel Suites, try to block the advance of my opponent, while the rest of the Tau army will give quite a good support fire. So I don't expect my Grey Knights will survive the whole battle, because they will be more retention, and they will sacrifice in order to avoid that the enemy can position it in a good position. Then I will have the Storm Ribbon, and the main function of the Storm Ribbon will be to be Tank Hunter or Flyer Hunter. So most of the list is based on weapons of strong 5, 6 and 7, and then we will have the Storm Ribbon and the Hammerhead that will be able to or they will have the capacity to damage higher armor vehicles like Land Riders and similar. If we go into more details in some of my units, for example the Terminators, I decide to use the Stave Guard because I want to use this unit in case I have a monstrous creature in front, or for example I have how it's called Riptide, or one of the big walkers from the Elder. So I can tie this unit in close combat. I can try to put this unit in close combat and use the Stave Guard to give 2+ invulnerable save. That will be quite hard to pass unless I'm unlucky. So it's a unit that the objective is to sacrifice and to block the movement of my enemies. On the other side, the other unit of Grey Knights will try to avoid the close combat and use more the shooting power with strength 5, stone bolters, and the psychic cannon. They can do quite a lot of damage to the infantry units. In case my enemies are using the cover and I cannot take them out of the cover, the ultimate solution will be try to charge them in close combat. And as I explained before, the Storm Reaver will have the function of tank killer and try to hunt the tanks from the distance. With the Dueling Lascannon and the Multi-Melta is quite dangerous for vehicles. So this is more or less the plan. So we will have the broadsides and the fire warriors keeping our deployment zone together with the cutter of fire, and then we will have the quads that can use infiltrate, try to grab one of the. So the main objective of the quads is to remain out of the battle and just try to grab an objective at the end of the battle. And then the harder part of the battle I expect to be taken by the Grey Knights together with the stealth suits. The Pathfinder will be only to mark light and help the other units on the shooting. So, and the Storm Reaver also to give support fire. So let's see how it goes this Saturday in this tournament, but at least this is the plan we want to use. And then we will adapt the plan depending on the enemy we have in front and depending how is the terrain. So that's all what I want to explain on the preparation for the tournament, and then I will do a report after the tournament and I will explain how it goes. So thanks a lot for watching. Now I will leave you with some pictures, a little bit of eye candy, and see you again later. Bye!